Desire is rarely loud. In fact, some of the strongest feelings are often expressed in complete silence. When a man is driven by desire, he doesn't always say, "I want you," directly. Instead, his emotions slip through his behavior, his body language, and the small, almost invisible choices he makes around you. These quiet signs are easy to miss, especially if you're waiting for clear words or bold confessions. Many women find themselves confused in these situations. You feel something is there. His energy feels different. The connection feels charged. Yet nothing is said openly, leaving you questioning your instincts. Is he just being polite? Is he naturally caring? Or is there something deeper happening beneath the surface? Understanding the difference can be emotionally exhausting. The truth is, men often express desire in ways that are subtle, controlled, and deeply psychological. Sometimes it's because he's unsure how you feel. Sometimes it's fear of rejection, past experiences, or desire to protect the connection from moving too fast. And sometimes, he simply believes that showing is safer than saying. This is where quiet signs become powerful. They reveal intention without pressure and attraction without vulnerability. Desire changes behavior before it changes words. It affects where his attention goes, how his body responds to your presence, and how much emotional space he gives you in his life. You'll notice it in the way he looks at you, how closely he listens, and how naturally he prioritizes you without ever announcing it. These signs are not dramatic or obvious, but they are consistent, and consistency is where truth lives. This list isn't about fantasy or wishful thinking. It's about awareness. Recognizing these quiet signs helps you understand what's really happening, instead of guessing or overanalyzing every interaction. It gives you clarity without forcing conversations or expectations. When you can read desire through behavior, you stop doubting your intuition and start trusting what you feel. It's also important to understand that desire doesn't always mean intention for a relationship, but it does mean emotional and physical pull. Knowing the difference empowers you. It allows you to respond consciously instead of emotionally reacting to mixed signals. In the following signs, you'll see how desire shows itself through silence, through attention, consistency, and presence. These are the moments that speak when words stay hidden. If you've ever felt that someone wants you but can't quite explain why, these quiet signs may finally put words to what you've been sensing all along. Pay attention, not to what he says, but to what he consistently does. That's where desire tells its real story. 1. He maintains prolonged, intense eye contact. When a man is driven by desire, his eyes often reveal what his words do not. Prolonged, intense eye contact is one of the quietest yet strongest signs of attraction. He doesn't just glance at you casually. He holds your gaze as if he's trying to understand you on a deeper level. This kind of eye contact feels different because it carries emotion, curiosity, and intention all at once. When desire is present, eye contact becomes more frequent and more focused. He may look into your eyes while you're speaking, not because he's being polite, but because he's genuinely drawn to you. Even in group settings, his eyes often return to you without him realizing it. This unconscious pull shows that his attention is emotionally and physically locked in. Another key detail is how his expression changes during eye contact. His eyes may soften, his pupils may dilate, or there may be a slight pause before he looks away. These are natural, instinctive reactions connected to desire. He might also look at you, look away briefly, and then look back again, a classic sign of attraction mixed with self-control. What makes this sign powerful is its silence. He may never say, "I want you," but his eyes communicate interest, longing, and emotional tension. When eye contact feels charged rather than casual, it's often because desire is driving his behavior, even if he's trying to keep it hidden. 2. He finds reasons to be physically close. When a man is driven by desire, he naturally tries to reduce the physical distance between you, even if he does it quietly and subtly. He may not touch you openly or make bold moves, but he will position himself near you whenever possible. This closeness isn't accidental, it's instinctive. Desire creates a pull, and his body responds before his mind fully catches up. You might notice that he sits next to you instead of across the room, stands closer than necessary during conversations, or chooses a seat that places him within your personal space. These small choices reveal a deeper need for connection. Physical proximity allows him to feel your presence, your energy, and your comfort without saying a single word. Often, he will create practical excuses to be close. He may lean in to hear you better, reach past you for something, or stand beside you under the pretense of convenience. These moments seem casual on the surface, but they are driven by desire. He wants to be near you, and his actions quietly arrange that opportunity. What makes this sign powerful is that it feels natural, not forced. You may even feel a sense of ease or warmth when he's close, because desire often brings attentiveness and care along with it. When a man consistently finds ways to stay physically close without crossing boundaries, it's a strong indicator that his attraction to you runs deep and is guiding his behavior more than he lets on. 3. His body language mirrors yours. When a man is quietly driven by desire, his body often begins to mirror yours without him even realizing it. This is a powerful psychological response called mirroring, and it usually happens when someone feels a strong emotional or physical connection. Desire creates alignment, and his body subconsciously tries to match your movements, posture, and energy. You may notice that when you lean forward, he does the same. If you cross your arms, he mirrors that posture shortly after. When you relax, he relaxes too. These small, unconscious adjustments signal that he is deeply attuned to you. His attention isn't wandering. It's focused entirely on you and your presence. Mirroring also shows comfort and attraction. When a man desires you, he wants to feel in sync with you. Matching your gestures helps him feel closer and more connected on a nonverbal level. This behavior often happens during conversations where emotional or personal topics are discussed, making the connection feel stronger and more intimate. What makes this sign quiet but powerful is that it cannot be easily faked. Mirroring happens naturally when desire and interest are genuine. He isn't trying to impress you or perform. His body is simply responding to the connection he feels. When you notice consistent body language mirroring, it's a strong indication that his desire for you is real and quietly shaping how he interacts with you. 4. He becomes more protective around you. When a man is driven by desire, a subtle sense of protectiveness often appears in his behavior. This doesn't mean controlling actions or dramatic gestures. Instead, it shows up in quiet, instinctive ways. He becomes more aware of your comfort, your safety, and your emotional state whenever you're around. You may notice that he positions himself closer to you in unfamiliar situations, walks on the side closer to traffic, or checks in to see if you're okay without making it obvious. These actions come from a natural urge to look after someone he cares about and feels drawn to. Desire often brings with it a sense of responsibility, even before a relationship is defined. Emotionally, he may step in when you seem uncomfortable or overwhelmed. He might subtly change the subject, offer support through small gestures, or stay nearby when you seem uneasy. This quiet protection isn't about showing strength to others. It's about making sure you feel safe and supported. What makes this sign meaningful is its consistency. He doesn't announce his concern or seek credit for it. He simply acts in ways that prioritize you. When a man's desire is genuine, it often blends with care and attentiveness. His protective instincts become another silent way of expressing how important you are to him, even if he never openly admits his feelings. 5. He listens to you with undivided attention. When a man is truly driven by desire, his attention naturally narrows in on you. He doesn't just hear your words, he listens with full presence. When you're talking, distractions fade into the background. His phone stays away, his eyes stay on you, and his focus doesn't drift. This level of attention is a quiet but powerful signal of desire. You may notice that he responds thoughtfully instead of casually. He reacts to what you say, asks follow-up questions, and remembers details that others might overlook. This happens because desire makes him emotionally invested in you. What you think, feel, and experience genuinely matters to him. Undivided attention also shows respect. He isn't trying to impress you with stories about himself or interrupt you to take control of the conversation. Instead, He creates space for you to express yourself fully. This behavior builds emotional intimacy, often before either of you realizes it's happening. What makes this sign especially meaningful is that attention is a choice. Time and focus are valuable, and when he consistently gives them to you, it shows that his desire goes beyond surface-level attraction. He wants to understand you, connect with you, and be present with you. Even without words, his attentive listening communicates that you hold a special place in his mind and emotions. 6. He notices small details about you. When a man is driven by desire, his mind naturally becomes tuned to the smallest details about you. He notices things others miss, a slight change in your mood, the way you style your hair, or the tone of your voice when something is bothering you. These details matter to him because you matter to him. You may be surprised when he remembers something you mentioned casually days or even weeks ago. It could be your favorite drink, a habit you have, or a story you thought wasn't important. Desire sharpens attention, and his memory holds onto information connected to you because his emotional focus is already there. Noticing small details also shows emotional presence. He doesn't just see you on the surface, he observes you carefully. This often includes recognizing when you're tired, stressed, or not feeling like yourself. He may respond subtly by adjusting his behavior, offering support, or simply being more gentle and patient with you. What makes this sign quiet but powerful is that it requires effort and interest. People don't notice details unless they care. When his desire is genuine, it naturally blends with curiosity and emotional awareness. Without saying anything romantic, his ability to notice and remember the little things becomes a silent confirmation that you hold a meaningful place in his thoughts. 7. His voice softens when he talks to you. When a man is quietly driven by desire, even his voice begins to change around you. Without realizing it, his tone often becomes softer, calmer, and more intimate when he speaks to you. This shift isn't deliberate. It's an instinctive response to emotional and physical attraction. You may notice that he speaks more gently to you than to others. His pace may slow down, and his words may feel more thoughtful. This softer tone creates a sense of closeness and safety, as if he's letting his guard down in your presence. Desire often lowers emotional defenses, and the voice is one of the first places this shows. Sometimes, his voice may drop slightly in pitch, becoming warmer and more controlled. This happens because attraction activates emotional focus and self-awareness. He becomes more conscious of how he sounds to you, even if he doesn't fully understand why. What makes this sign powerful is its subtlety. He isn't saying anything overtly romantic, yet the way he speaks feels different. You may sense comfort, care, and interest wrapped into his tone. When a man's voice consistently softens around you, it's a quiet signal that his desire is influencing how he connects, communicates, and emotionally opens up to you. 8. He reacts subtly to your presence. When a man is driven by desire, his body and emotions often respond the moment you enter the room, even if he tries to stay composed. His reaction may be quiet, but it's noticeable if you pay attention. He may straighten his posture, become more alert, or momentarily pause what he's doing when he sees you. You might notice a slight change in his expression, a soft smile, raised eyebrows, or a look that lingers just a second longer than normal. These micro-reactions happen automatically. Desire activates attention, and your presence instantly becomes significant to him. His behavior may also shift subtly. He might become more engaged in conversation, quieter than usual, or more aware of how he's acting. This happens because your presence matters to him, and his mind quickly recalibrates around you. What makes this sign meaningful is that it's unconscious. He isn't trying to perform or impress you. His body is simply responding to attraction. Even when he says nothing, his reaction to seeing you reveals that you have an emotional and physical impact on him. When someone's energy shifts the moment you appear, it's often because desire is quietly guiding their response. 9. He gets quietly jealous but hides it. When a man is driven by desire, jealousy can surface in very subtle ways. He may never openly admit it or act possessive, but small changes in his behavior reveal that he feels it. Desire creates emotional investment, and with that comes sensitivity to potential competition. You might notice that he becomes quieter when you mention another man or show interest elsewhere. His tone may shift, his responses may shorten, or he may suddenly seem distracted. These reactions are usually brief because he's trying to stay in control of his emotions. Sometimes, his jealousy shows through careful questions or casual comments. He might ask who you were with, how you know someone, or what your plans are, framing it as simple curiosity. Beneath that calm surface, his desire makes him want reassurance, even if he doesn't consciously realize it. What makes this sign powerful is restraint. He doesn't want to reveal too much or risk pushing you away, so he manages his emotions quietly. When a man feels desire, jealousy often appears not as anger, but as concern and awareness. These subtle shifts indicate that you matter to him more than he lets on, and the idea of losing your attention affects him deeply. 10. He initiates contact without obvious reasons. When a man is quietly driven by desire, he looks for small, natural ways to stay connected with you. He may reach out without a clear or important reason, simply to keep the interaction going. This could be a casual message, a short call, or a simple check-in that doesn't seem necessary on the surface. These moments of contact often feel spontaneous, but they are not random. Desire creates a need for connection, and even brief interactions help him feel closer to you. He might share something minor, ask a light question, or comment on something you mentioned earlier just to open a conversation. What stands out is the consistency. He doesn't disappear for long periods, and he finds gentle ways to stay present in your life. This shows that you're on his mind more often than he admits. Even when there's nothing urgent to say, the desire to connect pulls him toward you. What makes this sign meaningful is its simplicity. He isn't using grand gestures or dramatic declarations. Instead, he chooses quiet, repeated contact as a way to maintain closeness. When someone consistently initiates communication without a clear reason, it's often because desire is guiding them, quietly but persistently. 11. He remembers conversations you forgot. When a man is driven by desire, his memory becomes closely tied to you. He remembers things you said casually, even moments you don't recall mentioning yourself. This isn't because he's trying to impress you. It's because desire naturally sharpens focus and memory. What matters to you starts to matter to him. You may be surprised when he brings up a detail from an old conversation, something small, like a preference, a concern, or a passing thought you shared. These details stick with him because his attention was fully present when you spoke. Desire makes him emotionally alert, and his mind stores information connected to you without effort. This kind of memory also shows emotional engagement. He isn't just listening politely in the moment. He's absorbing what you say. Remembering your words later signals that you stayed with him beyond the conversation itself. Even when you're not around, you remain in his thoughts. What makes this sign especially meaningful is that memory requires interest and care. People don't remember details about someone unless they feel a connection. When a man recalls things you forgot you even said, it's a quiet confirmation that you've made an impression on him. His desire isn't fleeting or surface level. It's thoughtful, attentive, and rooted in genuine interest. 12. He adjusts his behavior when you're around. When a man is quietly driven by desire, you may notice subtle changes in how he behaves whenever you're nearby. He might become more composed, more thoughtful, or slightly more reserved than usual. These adjustments happen because your presence matters to him, and he becomes more aware of how he comes across to you. He may choose his words more carefully, soften his reactions, or show a calmer version of himself. This isn't an act. It's a natural response to attraction. Desire creates self-awareness. He wants you to see him at his best, even if he never openly admits it. Sometimes, this adjustment shows in small efforts: better posture, more attention to appearance, or a more respectful tone. He may also avoid behaviors that could make you uncomfortable. This reflects not just attraction, but consideration and emotional sensitivity. What makes this sign meaningful is consistency. He doesn't change dramatically for everyone, only for you. When someone subtly refines their behavior in your presence, it's often because they value your opinion and care about how they make you feel. His desire quietly influences his actions, shaping how he presents himself without needing words. 13. He watches you when you're not looking. When a man is driven by desire, his attention often lingers on you even when he thinks you won't notice. He may watch you quietly from a distance, taking in your expressions, movements, or the way you interact with others. These moments are brief, but they happen often. This kind of observation isn't about control or judgment. It's about admiration and curiosity. Desire makes him want to understand you beyond direct conversation. Watching you when you're not looking allows him to feel close without risking exposure of his feelings. You might catch him looking away quickly when you turn toward him, or notice his gaze resting on you during group settings. These reactions are instinctive. His mind is drawn to you, even when he tries to stay neutral. What makes this sign powerful is its honesty. He isn't performing or seeking validation. His attention flows naturally toward you. When someone consistently watches you in quiet moments, it often means their desire is genuine and deeply felt. Even without interaction, his focus reveals that you occupy a meaningful place in his thoughts. 14. He prioritizes time with you silently. When a man is quietly driven by desire, he makes time for you without making a big deal out of it. He doesn't announce his effort or ask for recognition, but his actions consistently place you high on his list of priorities. Desire often shows itself through time, because time is something people protect carefully. You may notice that he adjusts his schedule to see you, stays longer than planned, or finds ways to include you in his day. Even when he's busy, he creates small windows to be around you. These choices may seem casual, but they reflect intentional effort. What stands out is how natural it feels. He doesn't act like he's sacrificing anything. Instead, being with you feels like something he wants, not something he has to do. Desire transforms time spent together into something meaningful and energizing. This sign is powerful because it's consistent. Words can be spoken easily, but time requires commitment. When a man repeatedly prioritizes being with you without drawing attention to it, it shows that his desire is guiding his decisions. Quietly, steadily, you become an important part of his daily rhythm. 15. His actions speak louder than his words. When a man is driven by desire, his behavior often reveals the truth long before his words do. He may not openly express his feelings, and he might even downplay them if asked. Yet his actions consistently tell a different story. Desire shows up in what he does, not what he says. You may notice that he shows up when it matters, supports you without being asked, and stays emotionally present even during small moments. These actions are steady and reliable, not dramatic or performative. They reflect genuine intention rather than temporary emotion. What makes this sign important is alignment. His behavior matches his interest, even if his words remain cautious or neutral. He invests effort, attention, and care in ways that feel natural and sincere. Over time, these patterns become impossible to ignore. This final sign ties all the others together. Eye contact, attention, time, and consistency all point in the same direction. When a man's actions repeatedly prioritize you, protect you, and keep him connected to you, it's a cliché.